that look okay? Oh, that does look okay.
Good deal.
Jasper, we are just so brilliant. Okay, I'm really liking this new setup. I don't know. Let me know down below what you think. The walls in here are very, very blue. It might be very echoey because there's not a whole lot of furniture in here. There's like a safe, a chair, and a coffee table. But I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, there's the window like right here. Natural light, like it'll look a lot better than in the bedroom. So just let me know how you feel. Anyway, it is Pan Those Eyeshadows update 2, I think. Yeah, because we started in December, had a January, so February. So this is update 2. I am really enjoying this project. It is a little challenging sometimes to do this in conjunction with Pan That palette, but I feel like this is the best way to make sure that I am still getting use out of, you know, other eyeshadows in my collection and not just focusing on the Pan That palette. So let's just get right into it. I've already swatched out the color palette that we were working on for this past month. So I'm going to show that to you guys, and then I'll show you like the actual eyeshadow pans. And I apologize if he keeps moving back there and you hear his little jingly bits. His collar, his little, that sounded so gross. Anyway, color palette. So we had Honey from Urban Decay Naked Honey. We had Listen from McGrath Labs. It was just like a little 6-pan palette. We had what is this shade called? ICYMI, in case you missed it. Yeah, from ColourPop Sweet Talk. And then this one is Blitz from the Profusion Chocolates palette. This shade I did build up with like 3 different goes of swatches because it is very sheer on just like one application. So that's kind of like the intensity that I liked it when I was wearing it. So you did have to build it up quite a bit. But this is the color palette we were working on. So Honey from Urban Decay Naked Honey. Let's see, this past month I used it 4 times. So in total I have used this shade 10 times. And you can see it, where is it? Let me make sure I'm showing you the right shade. It is right here. Now again, like as of last month, it started getting like this weird hard pan on it, but it hasn't like affected the application of the shadow, so I'm not concerned about it. I think it's just like from the oils in my finger and whatnot, but we'll keep rolling with it. So no pan, but I am really enjoying this shade. It's what I have on today, topped off with like some red and yellow glitter from ColourPop. But I have been really just drawn to wearing more yellows. So, and this palette, or not this palette, that shade goes really well with a lot of the shadows from my Pan That palette. So it's a win-win. The next one that I will show you is Listen from McGrath Labs. Now, last time when we updated, I hadn't used this shadow at all. So I set like a mini goal for myself to use it 10 times in this past month. And I didn't meet that goal, but I did use this 5 times. So it is this one right here. And I don't know, maybe if I like rotate the palette around, I think you can tell there is like a little bit of a dip forming. So that is different. You know, last time it was like virtually untouched. I think I'd only ever like swatched this shade. It is really pretty. I just feel like in the pan, it looks like this rose gold kind of shade, but then like when you actually swatch it and wear it, it's like darker. It's a much more, you know, it's more purple than it is pink. And to me in the pan, it looks more pink. So it's just, I have to like remind myself that it's not going to translate on the eyes exactly as it does in the pan, which is fine. And it's been the perfect time of year. Like I do like purple, like dark purple shadows, you know, during this time. However, like once March rolls around and like spring fever kicks in, like this is going to be a hard shade to continue to work on if it is still in this project at that time. The next shade will be the shade from ColourPop. So it is from the Sweet Talk palette. I depotted the 3 ColourPop palettes that I had in my collection just to put them all into like a magnetic palette. I felt like that would make me more likely to use them. I did save the actual, you know, palettes from ColourPop just in case I got like depotting regrets, I guess. But so far I'm liking it. So this shade has been depotted, but here it is. And I think, if I could talk, I think you can tell there is a dip on this one as well. And so this month I have used it 5 times. So in total I have used this shade 9 times. And again, this one, it's kind of a frustrating shade. So here it is swatched out, and I would describe this as like a matte brick red shade. So how I like to use shades like that is in the outer V, and I will typically use like a light white kind of gold shade on my lid. However, when I pair it with something like that, this shade ends up looking more pink, and so it doesn't give me like the vibe that I want. So then I was like, okay, well, if you're gonna work more like a pink shadow, let me try, you know, using you with maybe some like silvers or purples or, you know, even lighter pink shades. And when I use it with those types of shades, it ends up looking more red. So it's been really challenging trying to work with it. I did post a photo on my Instagram where I used it, instead of in my outer V, I used it more in my crease, and then I think like a brown shade in my outer V, and then like a gold shade, like a white gold shade on top, and that looked fairly decent in my opinion. Like it didn't come off too pink or anything like that. So that might be like how I might just have one look with this shade, and I foresee this being a shade where we hit that 45 use mark and then roll it out. But so the last shade we will talk about is from the Profusion Chocolates palette, and it is that shade Blitz. Now we just rolled this in last time, and I've used it 8 times in this month. And with those 8 times, I hit pan. So I believe there was already like a dip in it before, like when I rolled it into here. And so that obviously helped. But also like this shade is just, it's very soft and squishy. It's not exactly the same, but it is reminiscent of like a ColourPop Super Shock shadow. So it's not really like hard pressed in there like a shimmer or like a matte or anything like that. So I think that plus the dip, and then plus the fact that I have to build it up so much to get the effect that I want, I think that's why after only 8 uses we hit pan. I mean, I'm not mad at it because that's another pan to add to the, you know, percentage, but I do feel, I guess, a little, I don't know, let down that it only took 8 times. Like I was really enjoying this shade, and that's not to say like I can't keep, you know, pulling it in and using it, but I just feel like 8 times was not a lot of usage to hit pan. Hopefully that makes sense. But we'll roll on to the exciting part of the update. That is where we get to pick a new shade. Now, my numbers, I don't even remember what they were last time, like 1 through whatever. It's 1 through 37 now, and I know that's going to change again because I have been kind of overwhelmed by my eyeshadow palettes. So I've really been going through and like scrutinizing them and making sure that, you know, there are what I have is what I really, really want in my collection, and trying to alleviate that like overwhelmed feeling. So this number here is going to change again, I'm sure, and it's going to keep changing until I am satisfied with my collection. So let's just not pay attention to that. 16. Okay, ColourPop Sweet Talk. Okay, let me go figure this out. Okay, so I told you I depotted 3 ColourPop palettes, so they are in this Z palette. It would help if like the ring light wasn't blinding you, wouldn't it? But this is what it's looking like, and I have it all written down so I know like what shades are from what palette. And these like holes, they are shades that live there. They're just in a different palette because I was pulling them out. So anyway, the shade that I selected from the Sweet Talk palette is the shade Melody. And I don't know on camera how well it'll pick up, but it's like a pink with like an orange flip to it, so like a duochrome. And it is very pretty. It is swatched out right here with the other 3 shades that we are working on. I hope the camera is doing it justice because this will be so fun to start pulling in now. It's like, it's just a great shade to like make you get excited for like those springtime, like more fun corally pink looks. So yeah, I'm really happy, and I think that it will pair very nicely with this shade, which they're from the same palette, so you know that makes sense that they would pair nicely. But I'm hoping that by pulling this in, I'll get way more use out of this shade too. But yeah, that is an update, short and sweet, hopefully not too rambly. Here's to hoping we continue to hit a pan each month. I don't think that that's realistic, but we can always hope, right? And totally forgot to mention, this of course is a project inspired by Alexi. I always have her linked in the description box and in the cards at some point during the video. I will also start linking her channel as like one of the end cards, so you could just click on her face. But yeah, that is it. I hope you guys are having a good day, good night, good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.